Hey, Pastor Tommy here from New Hope Presbyterian Church with a weekly update and sermon teaser. You know, one of my favorite books is Moby Dick, and one of my favorite lines from Moby Dick is from the main character Ishmael, and it goes something like this. He says, "There are queer times and occasions in this strange mixed affair called life when a man takes the whole universe as a vast practical joke, but more than suspects that the joke is at no one's expense but his own." You ever feel like that? I do sometimes. So, for example, this week I watched Samuel's update, which is great, his devotion about making resolutions. Let's make some spiritual resolutions this year. And so I thought almost immediately, Tommy, you need to have a better attitude. Don't complain. You need to deal with the restrictions, deal with church stuff and the government better. Just don't complain. I, Tommy Allen, am resolved to no longer complain about what comes down from the government and the state of Washington. That lasted a couple hours, to be honest with you. Yesterday, Governor Inslee released at least the beginnings of a new plan for us to begin following called the Healthy Washington Plan that begins in January 11th, which is a few days from now. And basically, as much as it pains me to say this, I mean, it really does pain me to say this, nothing really changes, at least for us as a church. We're allowed to have 25% of capacity. We're not allowed to sing. Nothing. You always hope when a new update's coming that somehow will be released. And no, that didn't happen. There's phase 1 and phase 2. I can read it to you. It says the first changes will begin when all Washington enters phase 1 of the Healthy Washington Plan on Monday, January 11th. At that point, Washington will allow live entertainment and select fitness programs to resume, though both will be severely restricted. While exact limitations have not been released, the governor mentioned that live shows will be limited to ticketing groups of 10 or fewer. When the area does enter phase 2, that comes with a host of benefits, including restaurants may reopen, indoor dining at 25%, indoor fitness centers may reopen at 25%, sporting competitions may resume, wedding and funerals will be allowed to have larger gatherings than currently permitted. And get this, we know that Governor Inslee is being advised by a Baptist friend of ours. Why? Because it literally says in the plan, dancing is prohibited. So we can have more people at weddings and funerals now, but don't dance at all. What is this? Footloose? Come on. At any rate, we don't even get to think about phase 2, and we don't even get to think about having a rebellious Kevin Bacon dance off in the barn. We're still in phase 0. We're like looking forward to phase 1 coming on January 11th. And so all I can say is that as a church, we will continue to do what we are doing, which is worshiping at 10 a.m. in person here at the church, following all the rules, and 10 a.m. virtually is when the sermon will premiere on Sunday mornings as well. And so whether you can make it on Sunday mornings or you can't make it on Sunday mornings, you should be able to participate one way or the other. And I'm sorry if this is coming across sort of like negative. I don't mean to be negative. I'm just sort of don't know how to be positive about it, to be honest with you. It just sort of is what it is. Now, something I can be positive about is this week's sermon. This week's sermon is Luke chapter 8, verses 40 through 56, and in the Jesus Storybook Bible, the title is A Little Girl and a Poor Frail Lady. And to me, it's one of the most moving passages in the whole New Testament. Remember Jairus' daughter is sick. He thinks she's going to die. And he goes and finds Jesus, and Jesus is on the way. And a lady interrupts him because she's sick. And Jesus heals her. And then he goes, and Jairus' daughter already died. And Jesus said, no, she's asleep. It's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing passage. Not often, well, maybe often, do I sort of break down crying as I'm reading and studying for my sermon. I did this week. It was cool. And so I would encourage you, if you know someone who needs encouragement, if you know someone who's struggling, someone who feels hopeless, bring them to church this week. And if you don't bring them to church this week, invite them to your house as long as there's no more than 5 people outside of your family and they've had 2 weeks of quarantine or 1 week and a positive COVID shot, to your home and watch the sermon with them and then talk about it after. We are going to make it through. I just don't know how old I'll be by the end of it all. Have a good week. I will see you Sunday one way or the other. Pastor Tommy, out.